Hello, I'm Whalley, welcome to Lenscraft. Today I want to share the second video looking at Nik Sharpener Pro. This time we're going to be discussing the Nik Output Sharpener. In the previous video we looked at the Nik RAW Presharpener and outlined a three-stage approach to sharpening. The RAW Presharpener covered the first stage of Capture Sharpening. This time we're looking at stages 2 and 3, Creative Sharpening and Output Sharpening. Here you can see the results of the Capture Sharpening we applied using Nik RAW Presharpener to a new layer. After applying Capture Sharpening, you would usually make further adjustments with the Nik collection. Once you're happy with the image, you would apply Creative and Output Sharpening as a final step. By the way, if you're interested to learn the best order of using the Nik collection plugins, I've published a tutorial on my website. I'll put the details in the video description below. Let's now open the image in Nik Output Sharpener. Although we've been talking about Creative Sharpening and Output Sharpening as two separate steps, Nik combines them into the Output Sharpener plugin. Notice we have three sections to the interface: the Output Sharpening, the Creative Sharpening and the Selective Sharpening. The Creative Sharpening and Selective Sharpening are really the same thing, but applied in different ways. We're going to start by applying the adjustments in the Creative Sharpening section. These controls work globally across the entire image. They affect all areas of the image, which can cause problems where you've got continuous tones like the sky. The first thing we're going to do is set our Output Sharpening strength slider to 0. This hides the effect of the controls in the Output Sharpening section and allows us to concentrate on the Creative Sharpening adjustments we're making. You can check it's having no effect using the Preview option. The Structure slider is used to enhance the larger structures in the scene. But if you increase it too far, you can damage the colour and saturation in the image. The Local Contrast slider enhances the contrast around finer details, making them appear clearer. Focus enhances the very fine details in the image, also making them appear clearer. You can see the effect better using the split screen preview. Unfortunately, these sliders also cause noise to become more visible. Here we're seeing signs of noise appearing in the sky. We can correct this by adding control points to select the sky. Let's switch to viewing the effect mask. Notice that each of these control points has the same controls as the Creative Sharpening panel. When you add a control point, you're replacing the Creative Sharpening panel adjustments with those you set in the control point. Now, because we want to avoid sharpening the sky, we should set the Output Sharpening strength slider to 0% on the control points. Let's now take a look at the Output Sharpening controls. First though, we need to remember to return the Output Sharpening strength slider to 100%. The way to use the Output Sharpening controls is to first select what you're sharpening the image for. Typically this is going to be for display on a screen or printing on an inkjet. With the inkjet settings, you select your options and the plugin applies the correct level of sharpening to optimize the print. In this example, we want to print to matte paper at 2880 pixels by 1440 as the resolution. We've also set a viewing distance for the print of 60 to 150 centimeters. Some of these options may make your on-screen view look terrible, but you need to trust the software. It will set the right level of sharpening for the output. Notice also that the sharpening isn't having any effect on the sky. That's because we selected it using control points and set the output sharpening strength on those to 0. If we now change to doing display sharpening, we see the controls change to being adaptive sharpening. To get the best results here, think of adaptive sharpening slider as adjusting the sharpening radius. When you move it too high, sharpening halos become visible. Lower values tend to disguise the sharpening halo. You can then use the output sharpening strength slider to increase or reduce the effect. I should also mention that I'm recording this video on a Mac with a scaled 5K screen. Because Nik Sharpener Pro doesn't recognise the scaling, it shows we're zoomed to 100%. But it's really 200%. If we go back to Photoshop, we can see what 100% magnification now looks like. As you can see, the sharpening's made a considerable difference to the image. If you feel the sharpening's a little bit too strong, you can also reduce the opacity of the layer. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you found it helpful, please share it with others and don't forget to subscribe. I'm Whalley, you've been watching Lenscraft. I'll see you next week for another Lenscraft video.